So what's happening with y'all guys, man? It's Nas Lee 27 in the building. We back here with another video, man. And this whole weekend, bro, just the whole NFL itself, it was a weird week, but like didn't end on a good note though, because it was a lot that happened where like a whole bunch of controversy, and Tua was catching strays for this whole weekend, honestly, after last week. What happened to him? But I'm gonna talk about it and see why Tua's been catching strays for what happened to him. But before we do, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, man. It'd be very much appreciated, man. It means the world to me. And just run it up for me, bro. It'll be very appreciated. But without further ado, man, let's get right to the video at hand. All right, so why I say that Tua been catching strays this whole weekend? Well, because the whole concussion thing, the whole rough and pass thing is going way too far. Now, to give you the full story, like what's going on, why Tua's into this. Well, week 3 when we get the Buffalo Bills, Tua took a hit in the land on his back in his head, and Tua started grabbing his head and he actually stumbled like getting off the field to where he had to get carried off basically. And then 4 days later, Thursday night football against the Cincinnati Bengals, he ended up getting tackled for a sack, but it ended up hitting his head on the turf, and he ended up basically having a neurological reaction to him, and he ended up being hospitalized because he had quick turnaround from actually playing the game on Sunday to Thursday. So. And they tried to say it was a back injury, but really it was just a more concussion, in my opinion. NFL caught flat for this because Tua had the concussion, had a concussion protocol. He came back in the Buffalo game actually, ended up playing the rest of the game, and then played in the Cincinnati game, and to which he ended up getting hurt that bad where like that possibly could have ended up being worse than it should be. So what the NFL did, to credit to them, they ended up changing the concussion protocol for this week, so that they just implemented and try it out for this week because they don't want another Tua situation to happen. When they put this in, this actually came out with more concussion protocols than usual. One of them being Teddy Two Gloves, aka Teddy Bridgewater, which was actually Tua's backup QB. He ended up going concussion protocol because they said after this hit he actually stumbled somewhere, to which I don't see the stumble, but like he probably stumbled like somewhere I ain't see off the field, something like that. But point is, you got put in concussion protocol, he ain't coming for the rest of the game, which I'm fine with because at the end of the day, it's safety first for me. Like, I enjoy watching football, but it is safety first for me when it comes to all these players, bro. Especially when it comes to concussion, because trust me, I had one before. It's not great to have. But something I didn't expect to happen was for the refs to actually overreact to the rough and pass calls this weekend. Because it's a rarity, but it was 2 bad rough and pass calls that were called this weekend. One being that Monday night game, which y'all saw, and of course, the other one being the Atlanta Falcons versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which had Tom Brady in the game, ironically enough. So I'm gonna show y'all both of them and see what happened right here. First, I'm gonna show you the Tom Brady side where Grady Jarrett, he actually got a sack on Tom Brady to force a fourth down, and the Falcons think they're gonna get the ball back, but they called off the passer because they say he slung him down, hit his head. But there's a problem with that though. He slung him down, but he ain't really slinging down that hard. And plus, to be honest, Brady didn't hit his head either too, so it was just a bad call. And plus, this ref actually has a history of calling bad calls anyway, so that's what I got from that, honestly. Okay, so another thing that's crazy about this sack right here on Tom Brady is the fact that like people are actually comparing this to the Tua sack that happened because it's basically kind of the same way that Grady Jarrett did, but he got like hit down like a little bit harder. I don't want to show that one because I don't want to show injuries on the screen at all, but. Point is, like, they're saying that Tua got whipped down a little bit harder on the ground. Pause. But I'll say this though, they didn't call reference pass because they thought that was just a legit sack and stuff like that. It was just more the fact that like what happened to Tua was just unfortunate. It was more of the organization not giving more caution to Tua's injury and not actually. I want to say they take it too seriously, but they should have been more cautious about that. They shouldn't have just played him after a quick turnaround. So we thinking like, well, it can't get any worse, right? Well, it did because Monday Night Football, Kansas City versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Chris Jones went for a sack. It was before the second half. No, it was before the second quarter ended, to where like Chris Jones got a sack. He actually recovered a fumble actually too, and then you would think it's gonna be Kansas City's ball. They get the ball before on the halftime. Well, they called roughing the passer because the ref says that Chris Jones landed body weight on Derek Carr. And here's the problem I have with this one. So here's the thing is though with this one is I kind of get why they call it because they say it was body weight, but it's just two problems to that though. Clearly, I don't think they saw Chris Jones actually cover the ball from within him and stuff like that. So I don't think they saw that. Even if they didn't though, like you can see that the ball was coming out, and plus, bro, like you can see like in the video that he was trying to brace himself to where he didn't actually land his full body weight on Derek Carr, so that way they actually want to call that on him. Honestly, now since they called the pass on him, Chris Jones would be the first person to ever get called the passer after having a fumble for his own team, which is actually a wild thing to say if you really actually think about it. So y'all probably wondering like, why do these two sets have anything to do with like getting concussion and anything like that? Well, it's that simple, bro. Like, they don't want another Tua thing to happen to where like someone goes down like that and then they get injured because of that. You know what I'm saying? So, but here's the thing though that they don't realize when they actually do this and call roughing the passer release. If you keep calling roughing the passer on plays like this, now the bodyweight one, I get that, but the way Tom Brady got tackled is one more I'm like actually talking about for real. If you keep calling roughing passes and stuff like that, the way Tom Brady got tackled at least, you're gonna create a more problem for the defense where like you might end up hiring more defensive players than you actually think. Cause honestly, the physics and then like actually like going full speed to try to get somebody down, you can't just stop and then just try to just grab them and take someone down with that, because if he actually do that, somebody's leg gonna give way and probably end up tearing the defensive player's ACL, and they're gonna be out for the rest of the season because you want them to actually stop and then try to take someone down like that. Now, why would I think like that? Well, because I don't want them to change the ref of the pass rule because of what happened to Tua, to which I don't think the injury to Tua is the reason why they should be calling rough the pass calls like that, because that's not the reason why that they should be more cautious of more a Tua being like hurt because of this. That's not sure the reason why, because you calling rough the pass calls like this is going to hurt defensive players more than you actually think. So what I'm saying is basically this: the rough pass call is clearly an overreaction to what happened to Tua. That should not be the reason why they should come with the pass calls. What you focus on when it comes to Tua is how they handle concussions going forward, because all the Twitter doctors that's saying that like Tua's injury was because of a back injury and not because of a concussion, y'all are completely missing the point, bro. The point is you seen Tua stumble after he got hit and then came back from the Buffalo Bills game, to which I don't even know why they even let him come back in the Buffalo Bills game after you saw him stumble. And then you turn around and have him play like a few days later just for him to be down again for him, which honestly put more risk to his health. To which now you have this rule here where now concussion protocol is going to be taken more seriously now, because I'm not saying it wasn't taken seriously to begin with, but they hammer down on it more because they don't want another Tua situation to happen. Now I'm gonna say it again, if y'all actually get to my conclusion of what I'm actually saying. Tua should not be the reason why that the NFL should overreact to the ref and the passer calls. The ref should not overreact to the ref and the passer calls because of the Tua thing, because that was more of like Tua and the team like not being more cautious of the injury, especially with concussions. They should be more worried about the fact that like Tua got a concussion and then he came back and then he ended up getting injured, and then they actually changed the concussion protocols for him and for everybody else for their safety. That should be the reason why they should actually go forward with what happened to Tua, not for the rest of the passing calls. That's it. Like that. That's how it should be. It's how it always be. But that's just my opinions on this situation. If you like the video, man, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'll be very much appreciated you do all that, man. I appreciate you actually watching the video because it just means a lot for y'all to do that. But until next time, man, Naslee 27 was in the building, about to check out, and catch y'all next time in another video, and you have a great day.